thank you to Ram Madhav ji and all the organizers for inviting me to this August event. So Harsh made some very expansive points on the advancement of humankind over several millennia, starting from the dawn of agriculture itself. And that's at the macro context very well for what I want to talk about, which is slightly more micro and focusing specifically on India and how new technologies are actually shaping both rights and identities in our country now. So I'll talk more on some mechanics, logistics, and less on the bigger picture, as it were. So on rights, as I think Guru had also mentioned in the previous panel, so we've seen that in the realm of welfare, we all would remember that it was a era of like continuous waste, inefficiency, corruption, and so on, that had become so normalized in our country that we didn't even give it a second thought as to why we have such colossal wastage. And we know now that by using technology, specifically the Jam Trinity platform, Jan Dhan Aadhaar and Mobile, India has managed to ensure that individuals receive their due. So in a way, empowering individuals in this manner, giving the due rights to those individuals in that manner, I think we have really harnessed technology in ways that almost no other country has. I was just reading the other day, there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal on how there has been a huge scam in the United States in the way they delivered welfare through the COVID pandemic. So a scam on the order of tens of billions of dollars where they could not target the welfare, they could not give it to those who need it, but a blanket sort of rollout has resulted in a huge amount of wastage of public money. Now, mercifully, India has kind of escaped that by building these capabilities in the government. And that's something we all have to be very grateful for, very proud of. So that is on the side of the rights piece, where hundreds of millions have experienced this today. Moving on to identities, as again I think Guru had mentioned and Abhinav also mentioned, there is a certain churn happening in Indian society today, where we are seeing a kind of a dissolution of the regional or the caste identities to some degree, and the emergence of a larger national identity, where more and more people are seeing themselves as Indians first. And maybe the second and third layer identity becomes the sub-national identity or the caste identity takes a kind of backseat in some ways. But there is a kind of larger trend in that way. And it is driven to a major degree by the kind of economic prosperity, the kind of progress on the wealth front that we are seeing. Communities which were left out of economic growth are now getting access and getting opportunities which they never experienced. So all these together, I think, are creating a social transformation. So the economic transformation creates a social transformation. So that technology-enabled safety net, along with this growth-driven sort of self-actualization, if we can call it that, together are completely transforming the country in ways which few had imagined probably even a few decades ago. And then just to close, and I'll hand it back to Kushal after that, I just want to say I see the emergence of technologies and how they shape our identities in particular in a positive light. Unlike many others who sort of see it in a sort of slightly dystopian manner. Of course, like every technology has its kind of positives and negatives, but my view is that largely positive impact is what we are seeing in the country and in the world too, with technologies such as social media, with technologies of other kinds that enables individuals to express their views, to share their thoughts and feelings more freely with others. So I think we should keep that perspective as well. It is definitely better than what it has replaced. So both rights and identities are changing rapidly in the new paradigm and in the new India. And on that note, I'll hand it back to Kushal, who I hope will provoke all of us with some interesting new directions on this topic.
He will.